I wanted to start with a fun topic of our top 10 album covers of all time, which I know was way too hard of a choice to make you do. And it might put you a little bit on the spot. You had 24 hours to kind of decide this list.
Yeah, I put one together. I am more answered kind of the 10 that influenced me the most, more than just
Yeah,
like
no,
a top 10 because it seemed like a answerable question.
yeah.
I feel like my favorites would change every week, but I ended up
Mhm.
going with the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, Anderson Paak, Malibu, Mac Miller, The Divine Feminine, Two Chains, Based on a True Story, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 2, Lil
Fire.
Wayne, The Carter Three, Migos, Culture, Young Thug, Jeffrey, Kanye, 808s and Heartbreak, and Wale's The Mixtape About Nothing.
That's fine. That's a good list. I want you to explain it in a second. But was Carter 3 the one where he's on the car? Like the white black?
No, that's the Carter Two.
Carter 2.
The Carter Three is the baby with the
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
Carter tattoo and
Yeah.
like Wayne's tattoos.
So before I give
Carter
my
Two is
list,
a great cover too, though.
no, yeah, it's fire. What parts of these album covers actually inspired you? Like what stuck out to you from some of these covers?
Different things from each, obviously. Pet Sounds is my favorite use of the font Cooper Black on an album cover. You've seen it on everything from Thundercat to Tyler the Creator to the Beatles to the Beach. Like everyone uses Cooper Black on their work, but Pet Sounds is just my favorite use of it. It does a really good job of kind of laying it out, and then I really like the colors on it.
Mhm.
Malibu and Culture are both just like some of the best collage work I've ever seen, and
Yeah,
like
so
got me really interested in collaging, which has really impacted a lot of my work. Based on a true story, Jeffrey and 808s are all really good examples of like less is more and kind of saying something more than trying
mhm.
to make the most complicated image. Kind of the same with the Divine Feminine. That's a good example of just like layering
Mhm.
disparate elements to kind of communicate something more than the sum of its parts. I
Mhm.
like the Carter Three a lot as just like it's mocking up something realistic, but also without trying to trick you into thinking it's real.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of times where design fails is when you like try to make something look really real and just it ends up in that uncanny valley where like this kind of commits to it's ridiculous to have a baby with tattoos, so
Yeah.
you kind of start out on a level playing field. And then Man on the Moon 2, just like I don't know. That was one of the first covers that I remember distinctly being impressed by. Like I
Mhm.
was big into Cuddy early into getting into hip hop and just like I don't know, the stars in the background of that record. It was just just made such an impression on me.
Yeah. Now, I love hearing how different people take in album covers. It's the same way that we all listen to music for different things. We could listen to a song and you could be like, the ad libs on that were crazy, but I'm over here like, oh, the harmonies were wild. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that like the font is something that sticks out to you. When I give my list, I won't be talking too much about fonts, but I love that like, that's what you nerd out about.
They're the
Uh,
first thing I noticed. Oh, this is my merch, but this is a new
Ready?
logo I made for myself, but it's in Cooper Black. It's my favorite font.
That's it, man. I gotta start using that. I've been using like Arial too much, and
And then,
honestly,
sorry,
running.
it's another slight plug. This is
Not plug it.
sweatshirt and merch I'm doing that it says real music always wins, but over each letter is like a letter from one of my favorite album covers. So it's
Wow.
like the Acid Rap R, De La Soul, Channel Orange, The Love Below, Malibu. If you're reading this, it's too late. Good Command City, Man on the Moon, Carter 2. Like, I'm not going to go through all of them, but
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, that's awesome that you thought of that idea. I'm a big fan of like, do you know the Wang Sap logo where it's kind of like the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
magazine clippings? I just love when something's spelled out with different fonts for each letter and different colors. So that's kind of like what you're doing with that. That's sick.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
these will go live sometime next year. I just got samples in, so I'm
I
working on
told
figuring out strategy.
once I get the job and I have money, I will I will purchase that.
We got the
Uh,
blank embroidered on the sleeve too.
oof, oof. So for my list, this was pretty hard, and there's definitely a lot of cool covers that I've seen that I don't listen to the songs enough, so it just wasn't my playlist, so I kind of forgot about the cover. But these are
Mm.
some ones that were important to me or just thought were awesome. I feel like Astroworld was just such a moment when the cover came out.
Which do
And
you prefer, the day or the night?
hmm, I, I feel like the day one I like. There's just something
I'm
about the
with you.
colors and it's more bright on it. I think
I'm
it
with
gets
you.
the album more. Number 9, I have similar because it's such a cultural moment is Views because like the album's called Views. He put himself on the top of the biggest building in the city he's from. The memes that were created by it, I feel like it was just such a huge cultural thing. And looking at
Mhm.
the cover, it's just sick.
It does bother me a little bit on that one that scale wise, he's like 30 feet tall,
Yeah.
but
He had a
it was a moment for sure.
yeah. Number 8, I wanted to choose one from Kanye, and I went with Graduation. I've honestly never really stared at the cover that much and really looked at like what was going on it. And I think just the whole trilogy idea with the bear and how much planning went into that, where before the college dropout was coming out, he knew the graduation was going to come, and he really
Hmm.
planned that all in his head. So I love the art. I'm sure you know the artist's name. I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, those Murakami.
Yeah, he's crazy. He did Kids See Ghosts too, right?
Yeah.
I could have said that one as well. Number 7, I got Pray for Haiti by Matt
Oh,
Kame.
that one's crazy.
I love the colors. I'm not sure what you would classify that type of art as, but it's just really cool. It's kind of like the Basquiat. I don't know if that's the
Yeah, it's
best
kind
way.
of based off of a Basquiat, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
it's really out there.
I was looking at some West Side Gun ones, and I was looking at like a Pray for Paris, and it's just the clip art chain is it's just
It's
not my
crazy
favorite.
though. I don't know. That's probably
it's
my favorite Virgil cover.
it's so
Unless you
interesting.
count like I think Virgil also worked on like based on a true story and like some of those early Donda ones, but like
Yeah.
post Donda Virgil.
It's an interesting one, and I wanted to shout out some these people aren't on my list, but some people who have constantly great album covers that are kind of that style. Action Bronson, I always love his covers. I think he just
Yeah.
draws them himself, but I really
Yeah, he
like them.
painted his last one. Blue
And
Chips 2 was a classic one to me too. The
yeah,
like
that's the cartoon of him
animation. Yeah.
dunking. Yeah, and The Alchemist always just has sick ass covers. Bo Jackson, I think, is the yeah
Hmm.
Bo Jackson. It just
That's the
I don't even
Boldy
know.
James collab with
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
sports cards interlaced.
That one's crazy. Honestly, most of the Boldy ones are crazy. From like a Tea in China. I'm blanking. I'm bad at title names.
The Price of Tea in China.
Price
Yeah.
of Tea in China. That cover's sick. Did not make my list.
I really like
Number
the Real Bad Boldy one too, the Real Bad Man Boldy James collab album. That's got a sick cover.
I think I can, I think I can picture that one in my head. 6. I got Kids by Mac Miller. I just
Okay.
think it fits the essence of the album so well that it's 3 of his friends sitting on the bleachers. I think I'm comparing it to the new cover. I think there might be a new one on Apple Music that I was looking at compared to the old one, but it's on
It's
my ceiling.
simplified a bit now.
But
Yeah.
I always liked how kind of like animated but real it was, and I don't know, I just felt the vibe of a high school kid making an album.
Have you
I did
seen the
not.
movie Kids that like the cover's based on? I
I have.
haven't.
No, I have not. Honestly, didn't know it
But
was
I
based on
just
something.
yeah, the
Makes sense.
lettering is like exactly the same as the movie called Kids that I think he even samples at some point on there.
Yeah, he does. It's also fun. Like, the Easy Mac cover is the opposite
The
scale.
Easy
Might be
Mac,
one
yeah.
of the worst covers.
I
Number
love
5.
watching movies too as a Mac cover.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really cool one with just like this red. He's been really big on like minimalistic covers. The more
Mm.
I'm thinking like swimming, obviously circles are very minimalistic. Faces is also
Even like Good AM is just
good. AM's just his
his
face
head.
yelling. Number 5 for me, I only wanted to choose one from this artist, but Sam Spratt is such a damn good artist. But
Oh yeah.
Logic, Everybody, just when I think back to how excited I was as a fan when that dropped and the different Easter eggs on it, like that just made the
Mm.
music so much cooler to me as a fan. So I don't know how people think about it now, but I know it's based off a famous painting. And it was like, oh my God, is that J. Cole in the top right corner? And like, oh, that's his dog at the bottom with the drum machine. So just as a fan, that made the experience even cooler. But Logic, I mean, he's very similar to like Tarantino. They love like Easter eggs and copying things that they love. So like
Oh for sure.
most of the Sam
Sam
Spratt
Spratt
cover.
is crazy. That man is incredibly talented. I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen anything even like pretty good from him. Like it's all incredible.
incredible. Number 4, this could be a kind of a hot take. I really like the KOD cover. I have it on my
Okay.
ceiling in my bedroom. I just love the painting. It's really cool with Cole, and then you have all the kids that are kind of like drugged up, which kind of previews what the album is. I like the purple colors on it. I don't have too much of a detailed explanation on that one. I just think it's cool.
Word.
Number 3, I'm not sure you can see it to the right of me. It has to be Flower Boy. I
I love that cover.
This tapestry has sat above my bed at college for like 3 years. I'm looking at it right now. I love the colors. It probably like, I don't know if an album cover has ever, like, so closely aligned with the sound of the music. Like, the album just sounds like a sunset and sounds orange, and
Hmm.
I think it was just the perfect cover for that album. Number 2, this has been a this has been above my bed my entire life at home, not at college. To Pimp a Butterfly is
That's
the
an incredible one.
dopest thing. There's so much explanation that can go into it, and I think it just represents the album so perfectly. My people have come to my house and are very confused about what is above my bed. They're like, who are these people standing in front of the White House, and why is there like a dead guy at the bottom? But I tell them it's the best album ever
Yeah,
created.
it's a
So,
classic.
and number one, you said it. It's the GOAT cover, Malibu by Anderson .Paak.
Shout out Dewey Saunders, man.
Yeah,
He is just incredible. Like he did that.
I,
He did Futures the Wizard. He's done a bunch of stuff with like
right.
Turnstile. He's a huge influence on me, and like it's cool. Twitter is so cool that like we've gotten to communicate a little bit
Yeah,
back and forth, and like it's crazy that
I was.
he's just out here.
He tweeted something about the album, and I didn't know he did the album, so I was just interacting with him about the cover. I'm like, it's literally on my ceiling right now, and sent a picture. Then I realized I'm like, oh, this is the guy who made the cover. It
Yeah,
is. I think I've had it since the first day of college, and it has survived 5 years at this point. And I
hell yeah.
hope it stays at the top of my ceiling.